Okay, Renita, so why don't you just give me a brief introduction to the science lesson that you did? That
Give
was,
me 1 second. My internet.
oh, okay. Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this this lesson is about the science,
Mm-hmm.
and the topic I covered that day was graphical display using um, a Venn diagram.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, um, touching the concept of Venn diagram and how to compare and contrast. But
Mm-hmm.
as this that was a science lesson, so we compared and contrasted two objects. That is, one is both are solids, and how two objects have different attributes, how two objects have similar attributes.
Mm-hmm.
This we talked about. So I started the lesson. So for planning, I did the planning beforehand. I created the charts, I created my slideshows and
Mm-hmm.
Google Slides, everything the day before. So the lesson started with showing them like what is a Venn diagram is. So I always start like what is a Venn diagram. I know nobody
Mm-hmm.
would raise a hand.
Mm-hmm.
So and then okay, so this is how the Venn diagram looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So there were two circles, one overlapping each other, and this part is common, this part is different, etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
so you explained it. Yeah.
And after that, we just put like cotton and the marble in two different places, and with the whole class we did an activity
Mm-hmm.
like, can you please separate them given their texture or the attributes or hardness, anything.
Yeah.
So the kids did quite well
Mm-hmm.
in this section. Once we did that, we moved to the slideshow about the pencil and the
Mm-hmm.
desk, and then we did that together.
Mm-hmm.
So one was an example by me,
Mm-hmm.
and one was a whole class activity. After that, once they understood, we have their science journal. Two things were waiting for them. One
Mm-hmm.
was a real cotton and how they can experiment that, and another one was the cotton and the marble
Mm-hmm.
photo on the Google slide, and how they can compare and contrast alone or with their partners.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what they did, and I think like they did pretty well. I checked their copies, and they understood. Some of them explained the um, usually you or me, we video them or ask them like what did you notice or what you think it's going to happen. They
Mm-hmm.
explain their experiments very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Even they tried to understand. Some girls said that the cotton was spreading out, some said that um, it's going down gradually, it's hard or this. But I think it was a nice experiment that they touch something,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
they visualize
Yeah.
and write their own answers and questions. That's what we did that day.
Was your goal to teach Venn diagram, or was it to review the science?
The goal
Or,
was to well, that's a tricky question because using a graphical display
mm-hmm.
and teach them solid and liquid was one of the criteria in the PS2 standards. So my
Mm-hmm.
goal that
Mm-hmm.
day was not using like not that I have to do a graphical display,
Mm-hmm.
but it worked
Mm-hmm.
well. So it's like an
Yes.
egg chicken problem.
Mm-hmm.
But so I introduced a graphical display, and then also the main goal was how to see the
Mm-hmm.
objects, what's happening, how they can compare, what
Mm-hmm.
one or how one is different from the another.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely the objects were the main goal that
Right.
day.
Right. Yeah. It was. to me, it was a perfect diagram to use to review characteristics, but also for the kids to synthesize that they, have qualities that are different and the same. And even though they were very similar in maybe shape or similar in, they were solids, but it was very good. And you introduced it well. The sequence was just right. The kids were really able to follow along and then do their own work independently. Again, it moved fast, but just at the right pace, not too fast, but fast so that you didn't have the kids start drifting away. So the planning that you did was very appropriate, and yeah, it was a great lesson. I knew that it was to kind of review characteristics and to summarize, and synthesize what they had learned. And I think graphic organizers are a really good way to visually show those kids. So less sentences, less composing, groups of sentences, and a display that gives them that information.
Right. I was thinking that what should I do? Should I use a T-chart and do a same and different, or should I use a Venn diagram? So I just gave a shot. I thought like let's try with the Venn diagram. Maybe they can get it, and it's only like how I am introducing them. But I found that they understood at one go, and they did a great job.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And even if they were a little bit confused after the group, worked together, it's good to get them off the floor and into their seats so that they go and do it and just try it on their own. But they had partners, so to try it with their partners, that was good. Yeah. Were there any adjustments that you did in the lesson?
Yes, the adjustment means like I wanted to make a T-chart first, or I was thinking like if we can do any like flow chart, how we can show like this, like objects and then solid, and then two solids again becoming different part. But then I thought, okay, maybe Venn diagram, this is going to be more complicated and maybe not grade appropriate. So I was thinking and thought like, okay, let's do Venn diagram.
Okay, so that was in the planning though. I was just looking at part of the
the lesson.
Within the lesson. Was there ever a need that you needed to support a student or support the learning by making an adjustment? Maybe did you need to change a group, or did you need to maybe like just stop the lesson and give a little more information? Sometimes that's something I often do is I'll take a pause and give them something that I think they need.
I think absolutely. If that's maybe if that's that example you're giving me, like you're telling me, but of course. I haven't I didn't think that this can be an example. I do that every time. Maybe don't change the lesson plan, but definitely stop it or something I forgot. Okay, let's ring the bell and tell them.
Exactly, a little adjustment right there.
I definitely do that. But I didn't think that this is an adjustment in the lesson plan.
No, I know.
Change the lesson.
But I was just reading here. It actually is a very good thing to just, I guess what we're doing is giving permission, for teachers to stop and say, hey, everybody, I just need 2 minutes. So, and I forgot to tell you something. Or I noticed this was working really well over here. Maybe we could all try this, So just something that helps the learning go forward in a more, efficient or deeper way, right?
By lesson plan, I thought whether I changed the structure of the lesson.
Oh,
so it was a different thing in my mind.
Okay.
So, but I didn't change any structure of my lesson, but definitely the groups or if something I paused, then I changed.
When you look at this rubric here, look at this outstanding part right here. It says, candidate adjusts and revises lesson plans while teaching to address student needs, ensure learning, and respond to the changing circumstances in the classroom. Right. So maybe things are getting too hyped up. Or
that we are definitely doing all the time.
Yeah, yeah. But then we have to think, okay, what was it that I did? And, be conscious of it. Okay, I've got to think now. But it becomes so second nature almost,
Right. That is
doesn't it?
like that's like every
Mm-hmm.
time we are doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Sometimes the questions become so obvious that we don't
Mm-hmm.
think that we
No,
can be
it's
asked
true.
that
And
question.
we just want to remember that being
True.
proficient is, that's kind of where